open scoring. I don't know if we've ever talked about open scoring. No, I don't think we have. Like open scoring, I think a lot of people. My understanding of open scoring is that the fighters fight. There's a what is it? A scoreboard, and it has the judges around 1 through 5 or 1 through 3, and after every round, the scores go up. Boom, 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 and fighters, coaches, the crowd can see the score. What do you think about that, Dan? Like, would you enjoy having the scores like hanging up there like a basketball game or a football game or anything like that?
I'm indifferent. No, but like I understand both arguments. And again, like my fighter hat is like completely different to my coach's hat. Like you'll see, like, well, the things I say as like a coach or something like that to my fighters, and then how I approach the sport and how I fight are like two entirely separate entities. Like I think like Dana White's argument against it, right, is like a fighter's 2 rounds up. They see they're 2 rounds up on the score, then they just coast, right? They just move away, be defensive. They just coast it out. I think that will happen. Like that will happen a lot. You know what I mean? If there's like open scoring or something like that, or yeah, like there will be a lot of stalling, right? I feel like a lot of fights will have more stalling. Will it be better in some cases? Yeah. Will it, for the most part, be more stalling? I feel like that's the way that it would go. Like that's like the big. It's kind of like a mystery, right? Combat sports has always been like that. Boxing has always been like that. Like it gets to the end, the two guys stand, and it's like that anticipation at the end. Because a lot of people don't understand how fights are scored or which way they were scored, and there are a few key details that are certainly open for interpretation. So it is a very tricky question. Like you're going to lose that anticipation at the end where there's the two guys standing there. Which one's going to get their hand raised? It was a close fight. Like could go either way. So I feel like I would definitely understand it. Like if it got brought into play. But I'm not like, I wouldn't be against it. I'm not like hard for it because I think it would encourage stalling and we lose the anticipation at the end.
That excitement.
That excitement, you're gonna like lose that you're gonna lose that bit at the end.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is something that we will lose. Like we don't know exactly. It was a close fight, all 3 rounds, all 5 rounds. We don't know who's gonna win the fight. We have an idea, but we don't know for sure.
We have an idea, but we're not like sure, you know. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get a big surprise, or I don't know. It is, yeah, it is like suspenseful. You're gonna like lose that. You're gonna lose that part of the sport for what? For more stalling. Like it's definitely not. It's definitely not gonna create more excitement in the sport. Like in no way is it going to create more excitement in the sport. Like look, they're saying, yeah, but if a guy knows he's 2 rounds down, well then he's going to go out guns blazing, wild, trying to get the finish. And it's like, you know, when you're losing a fight, like you know when trust me, you know when you're losing when you're 2 rounds down, and you know you should probably go out guns blazing. It's not, I would say, yeah, you're gonna lose like a lot of excitement in the sport. Like a lot of guys will just stall out the last round. Very rarely is someone gonna be 2 rounds up and be like, you know what, I'm gonna try to get this guy out of here, like because you have like the evidence is on the scoreboard. If I just coast, I get twice as much money.
Yeah. Well, you would have to put in a penalty for stalling, like a serious penalty. Like
now we're adding more rules. To
you have to,
sport.
because if you,
I hate rules. I thought we just brought the rules in so we could explain to the normal people why we were fighting in the cage. and we were getting away with it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's just throw a couple rules in there. Oh no, this elbow is illegal. Oh yeah, we're scoring them. We wrote up all this scoring system, and yep, you can't eye gouge them. I thought we just made up the silly rules so we could excuse fighting in a cage as a sport. Come on, we don't need more. We don't need more silly rules. I need less silly rules.
I understand that point. I understand the point of like
Man,
why
we're gonna
create more
now we're
rules
gonna
to
have a
understand.
now we're gonna have a scoreboard. The guy's gonna pull out a little yellow card at me, like, oh, can't. You know
It's
what I
just too
mean?
much.
You know what I mean? Like, it's too much for me. I don't even want to. I don't even want to play your silly game anymore. If
Well,
the fight, just
if
let
they
the
do,
boys play. Let the boys play.
you're right. Like you do need to. Well, you do have to add certain rules to counterbalance. Stuff that will happen, like you said, like stalling, and then also, um, it will alter coaching. Like you'd have to have, you know, different approaches to different types of rounds, or after the first round you figure out, oh, these judges are scoring, you know this more than this. You could kind of figure that out as a coach, and then when you go into the corner you have to implement, the adjustments to your fighter, and telling them the judges seem like they're scoring takedowns more than striking volume or whatever, you know what I mean? Because you never know what the judges are scoring on. You don't know. You think but you don't know what's in their head. But I think some places should try it. Just try it out, like at the lower level. You know what I mean? Not in the UFC or Bellator or whatever. I think in the lower level they should try it out, and they have started slowly trying it out. It doesn't seem that bad, but we'll see. But I understand your point about like the anticipation. Yeah, the anticipation definitely will be lost. They're like, but other people argue, say, oh, in football, that's the anticipation is lost. Or in baseball, when you watch it, the score, the anticipation is lost in that one. And when the fight's close, that's when you get more anticipation, or you get more out of the fighters or whatever. And I don't know. There's so many different levels of argument about open scoring. People try to make it so simple, but yeah, it has a domino effect. If you introduce it, you have to introduce new rules, and then the coaches have to adjust to a certain style that the judges are judging with in fight. You know what I mean? Like during the fight, they have to go in the corner and make sure that the fighter understands that this is what is being judged on. This is what's more valuable in this certain fight, which is not going to be known until the first round is over, right? Like you don't know, or that event starts, going, and you see how the judges are judging each round, and then you start to figure out, okay, these judges are taking this many points for this, or it's a never ending fucking argument, and like until they just start implementing at the lower level to see like what's wrong and what's right with it, we will never know.
Yeah, like my argument is simply make judges more accountable. Like that's it. If something's controversial, well then like it can go through the commissions for all I care. Like if something's controversial, then the judge can just write a paragraph as to why they thought this fighter won the fight. Like it can be as simple as that. Like, but they need to be, so they're obviously not getting abused and bullied or anything crazy like that. But all you need to do is make them judges more accountable for their decisions, and then they obviously have to prove their understanding and knowledge of the sport. Like if they get asked for a simple paragraph as to why they thought this fighter, and they come up with something that's complete bullshit, or you know what I mean, and now they have it like written down in a blurb that they're a complete idiot. Well, now like we can look into removing that judge, or ask the commissions like, look, this guy clearly doesn't know what they're talking about. Like the main problem with judges is there's just no accountability. They tick this guy, they tick that guy, they go home. Nothing ever happens to them. They're at the next event, like they never have to prove their understanding or their knowledge of the sport. It can be as simple as making the judges more, like the commission's making the judges more accountable for their decisions. And I feel like that over anything, like that, having open scoring is still not going to stop bad scoring. Like now the bad scoring will just be there like straight away. And well, you're going to get that response like straight away, but still, like the judge doesn't have to be accountable for their scoring decision. And I guarantee you that if they bring in open scoring, they'll remove the judges from cage side. The judges they won't be allowed to sit cage side. You think like a judge makes a complete shit call that the 20,000, 10,000 fans in attendance aren't going to start throwing their beers at the judge, or it's not going to be very difficult for that judge to leave his seat, because it would be. It's what comes with that score, like that accountability is there straight away. I feel like just having them to prove their knowledge or their understanding of the sport somehow or some way would just make leaps and bounds and improvements in judging.
It will. Accountability, of course, always is going to improve everything with judging and open scoring, all of that. Like you said, you're right though. They cannot have the judges case side because people will throw stuff at the judges. People
they won't get out of there. Like they're not leaving. Like, trust me.
You see a big ass Modelo can flying across the fucking
hey, man, one of those liter cans come flying down
just
here.
filled, just like a wall of fucking beer, just fucking drench them and shit. Yeah, I can see that happening.
If you ever throw a full can, you angry. You real. those beers are $14 in those arenas. Like you're mad. Trust me.
You better make it worth your while. If you're gonna throw that fucking thing, right? Launch it. Hey.